Two. Yo, hi Neil.
Hey, good morning, Precious. How are you?
I'm good. Good. I'm going to say good afternoon because it's afternoon for me here.
Oh, that's right. Good afternoon.
Yeah,
How's
good
your
afternoon.
weekend?
Smooth. I mean, I had good sleep this weekend. It
That's
was
nice. That's
I
always
was
good.
able, yeah, I was able to catch
Yeah,
some sleep. The week was
yeah,
very long.
yeah.
Yeah, we are here. Okay, so how was your week? How was your weekend?
Good. I was kind of finishing up the dev agent release, right? We're going to be planning to do this week, hopefully.
Okay.
So final little things to tune up.
Nice. All right.
All right, what do we
So
got today?
a
What
lot of
exciting thing happened last week?
a lot of interesting thing happened. So I think GTEx, it's called GTEx, the one by NVIDIA.
Okay.
So they have this conference called GTEx that happened. I think it happened within the week. It happened from 17th to
Oh,
25th.
it was last week. That's why I've been hearing lots of things about NVIDIA. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, it was last week, and they had a lot of interesting things that happened during that. I mean, they made
Like
a lot
what?
of interesting announcements. They made this. I think that's in one of the stories I want to talk about today. They did this model, a lot of futuristic thing.
Mm.
Um, was humanoid. They were talking about a lot of humanoids
Oh
and a
yeah.
lot of hardware. How they are going to, bring a lot of hardware devices that is going to help people build better AIs, better
Mm.
models. How the
Mm.
models are going to get faster. How
Mm.
there's going to be a lot of engineering changes coming in very soon. You
Mm.
know, I think one of the most interesting one was this new AI model called Chiral. So this Chiral,
Kira. Hmm.
yeah, is a model trained on human thoughts. So they were able to extract human thoughts from using a process like that, and this is supposed to help humanoids think better, act better, and be able to perform like more human-related tasks. So it's one of the major updates that they gave. They didn't announce anything new per se, but they were able to like say you know, discuss about a lot of the things that they have in their labs working. Also, they launched this thing more like a workbench, a virtual workbench that can help hardware engineers to be able to test out humanoids. So let's say we are building this model that
Mm.
is going to help robots to be able to speak or play games better or faster, right?
Right,
I don't
right.
need a whole lab. I don't need to have like a whole lab, set up all the equipment. I can be able
Mm.
to test the AI model I'm going to put into this bot on
Mm.
that online workshop, online workbench. So I don't need to have an expensive lab somewhere in. I don't think we have any of those labs in Africa anywhere though. So I don't need to have those labs. I just need to virtually test out what I'm trying to build. So these are like some of the major updates that they made. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of interesting stuff. So everybody was talking about it.
Will you
Everybody
get
is.
one? Will you get one, Precious? Like humanoid robot doing chores for you, like make breakfast for you, do
I,
dishes.
I'm 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 an African. I'm an African. I'm very superstitious. We can be superstitious and those things.
These things are expensive a little bit. I will get
Yeah.
one once it becomes reasonable. I
Okay.
mean,
I mean,
why not, right?
yeah. What's there? If
Yeah.
I don't live in Africa, I will try to
Yeah.
get one. When I move out of Africa, I'll try to get one.
Okay. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff happening in that space, I know for a fact. Okay, so I have something rather on the other side of the world story, which I thought was interesting. So Eclipse Foundation released some open source AI development tools. Now, Eclipse is, I might be dating myself here. Eclipse used to be, and I looked up to the morning, it's like a third most popular IDE for Java developers. I think
Yeah.
first one is IntelliJ. Then for the first time, VS Code
Yeah.
became the second, and
Hmm.
Eclipse is a third most. That means 28%. I mean, that means millions of developer uses that platform.
Yeah.
that IDE to build Java applications, especially in enterprise. So they have released I mean, I think this is good overall for AI and open source and everything. So they finally released a new IDE called Thea, which is AI powered. Sort of some of us are already used to like having a chat interface in VS Code and using Copilot. I think Eclipse IDE for the first time, I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, is getting that feature. And one interesting thing about this Thea ID is you can actually run on your browser, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can do chat, auto-completion, code assistance, all that stuff is kind of coming to old school Java programmers. So that's I think is really good for the industry.
Oh, wow.
To me, the funny bit was that even though they're calling it an Eclipse Thea ID, when I played with it, it actually looked very much like VS Code. So I'm not sure what's happening here. Are they wrapping VS Code core inside their IDE? If someone who is familiar with this, please let us know, because to me, it looked like a VS Code.
I think there is a thing with all these AI companies copying themselves, right? I mean, we saw Deep Research from Gemini, and then ChatGPT also calling theirs Deep Research. And
right.
then also during this week, Google also launched Canvas, so we now have Canvas on Gemini, right? So
okay,
and it was very interesting because I used this today to build a little thing, something very little, just a tic-tac-toe game, and I've played it a couple of. I even had to tell it, oh, I want to have versus computer versus human and all those kind of things. Very interesting, just like what we have.
So for the audience, since we can't show the screen, for the audience who doesn't know what Canvas is, can you explain what that is? What does that look like? Is that like an interactive environment? What is it?
It's like an interactive environment. So you know the way you go to Gemini, you give it your prompts, right? I think more people are familiar with ChatGPT interface. I'm going to use ChatGPT interface. On ChatGPT interface, you're going to see search, and you're going to see search and deep reasoning, right? And reasoning, that's what we call it. Correct. So down there for Gemini, you're going to see deep research, and you're going to see Canvas. So all you need to do is click on Canvas, and you can tell it something like, oh, I want you to help me build a game of two people fighting, very simple game, where actually help me build a simple tic-tac-toe game. What's happening is I'm going to open a canvas. So the canvas is like a window where it's going to write the code, right? And just up at like the top right, sorry, you're going to see code and preview. So on the code side of things, you're going to have the raw code. You can make your edit, you can adjust the HTML, you can change the name, you can do all those things on the code edit. And when you go on the preview side of things, you're going to see the preview of the code. So you're going to see
I know this. So on the right, you will see as you build it, is actually see it in action.
You're seeing it in action, yeah. So I mean, for people that are not so technical, in-depth technical per se, right? You're going to start seeing them, building stuff without even having to use all those other things. I mean, we spoke about very today, so let's the topic for today.
That's there is a common theme in here. I like this. Yeah. So I do have a couple of open source stuff that I want to share because I know our developers really like it. So Microsoft released a new AI agents for beginners. It's a new course which is designed to teach you everything you need to know to start building AI agents. I think it is really timely because we're having a masterclass coming this weekend. I think the way the AI agents are going, I think it's good for every developers to kind of have even if you're not willing to build them, have a basic understanding of how to build them, how to work, because I feel like there's going to be lots of opportunities in this space. Some of us who started building AI agents before it's kind of became so popular, I mean, we had to learn hard way all the things to do, right? What's not to do, so I feel like this is a really good thing for the industry. So this course is designed for beginners. That means it doesn't assume you know all this stuff. So it's great if you are beginning in this space and want to build AI agents. I thought the course was very interesting. Obviously, they're going to explore a bunch of agentic frameworks. Then sort of figure out how to do tools used, which is fundamental. We talked about MCP last week, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have a common standard for how to use these tools. They have this design patterns for multi-agent, which is also, I think, is very critical, because as you build reasonable application using AI agents, you need to figure out how multiple agents talk to each other. In fact, I might take a spin on this course just to see what I'm doing wrong and get better at it. I'm going to drop the link here. I would encourage, this is again open source, is free. This is the GitHub URL. And I found this blog, which I thought was nice, gives you an overview of the course. I will jump on the next one as well, then I'll hand over to you. Speaking of this open source, like you said, deep research, right? Deep research is not everybody is offering deep research, right? I think ChatGPT? I think OpenAI started with this now. Claude does this, and Perplexity. I got access to Perplexity Pro, by the way, recently. I can give you access to that. I'll give you access to that because I can add my team members. I used Perplexity deep research essentially to discover all these stories that I'm talking about right now. So I use deep research every week to create all the story notes for the podcast. So there is an interesting aspect of this, is that obviously these are all built by these companies. They own this. As a developer, so you're always very curious about, right, what if I want to build my own deep research, right? So I found this project very interesting. I mean, again, I love LangChain guys. It's called Local Deep Researcher. This repo essentially, oops, that's a wrong URL. Let me paste the correct one. What this repo does is essentially gives you a very high level idea and structure of how you can build your own local deep researcher. And I think there is lots of interesting applications for this. One that I've been exploring with one of my friends here, we might be open sourcing that real soon, is in theory, you can take some of these ideas and implement for your internal data sources, right? So assume you are part of a large organization where all your data is scattered around multiple data sources, maybe SharePoint, Google Drive, OneDrive, what have you. Imagine you're inside the organization looking for, hey, I want some answer about this particular issue that I'm having, which is related to your organization, not necessarily available on Google. So imagine implementing deep researcher for your intranet. I think that's really could be a very, very interesting application of this. So developers out there, take a look at this. This also shows some really nice design patterns of how to build agentic AI applications. That's kind of my highlights of this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long week and a lot of interesting things happened. Okay, I think one of the other things that happened, I mean, before we get to vibe coding, I mean, vibe coding is going to be a really interesting conversation. I mean, someone sent me a message this morning about how he has been doing vibe coding over the weekend, and if you're someone from our community, by the way, shout out to you, Ash. So he sent me a message telling me how, vibe coding is going to make people lazy, that he tried it all weekend and he thinks that this thing is not going to stick. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't responded to him. I'll respond after this podcast. Right.
Yeah.
So GitLab, for some reasons, I mean, GitHub is popular. I've not been interested in GitLab. I don't even think I have a GitLab account. All the work I've done has all been around GitHub and doing this stuff, right? So I've not really paid attention to their AI game. So just this morning, I found out that they have what they call root cause analysis, which they've had like for I think over a year now, close to a year now, right? Now they made a new release to that. They called it AI powered code review. So this thing works just like the way we had the idea of our dev agent working. So you add it to your repo and then you give it a command, just the way you assign issues. You just add it to your repository and you assign issues to it. What happens is that it breaks it down and then it starts working on that issue. Now, it's not working on the issue, it's taking screenshots. This also is how our this divergence is going to work. So it goes through your code base, it takes screenshots of issues, it analyzes, find the bugs that you're looking for, takes screenshot of those issues, and then it drops it on the it makes a comment for you, right? It makes a comment telling you what to fix with screenshots. So it screenshots, oh, you have an error in line 15. It will now tell you what you need to do is to close your command using semicolon, or make a call from this, or your let is not spelled correctly. You need to change the spelling of this. It just gives you the command down there. But then what it does is that it goes into your code base, it analyzes every single thing. So imagine when you have like a 50,000 lines of code, right? And then you're trying to find a bug in line 219. How do you start going from line 1 to line 219? So you just add this agent to your code base on GitLab. It goes through, takes screenshots. It's because they already have what they call root cause analysis. Because they already have what they call root cause analysis, they are able to even analyze your code base even before they start telling you where the bug is coming from. So the root cause analysis analyzes your code base, and then this new model that they launched, which they call the code reviewer, this code reviewer now goes in to find the bugs for you and then tells you what to do and how to fix it. Also, if you check Tublian platform, if you use our platform a lot, you are going to notice you will know when we are our open source finder doesn't just help you find open source projects, right? It also helps to tell you how to fix the open source issue. So these two things work in a kind of the same way, right? So
Yeah.
these two, our open source finder breaks down the whole code base for you. It tells you that, oh, this is the issue they're trying to help, they want you to solve, and then all you need to do is to create this, do this, and do this, and make a pull request. That's what ours. If you go to Tublian now, you can see it. And when we figure out how to share screen here, we are going to show you some of these things, right?
Yeah.
Now,
I think
and there
this
are
is a very interesting pattern, though, right? I mean,
yes.
yeah. I think we're gonna see lots of agents kind of work in a synchronized fashion. Like, so one interesting workflow could be potentially a developer pushes a pull request. This GitLab code reviewer root cause analysis peer, I'm assuming it will get triggered every time we use Gemini code reviewer, right, internally. So similar fashion, I'm assuming that this has more sophistication built in. So so it will figure out, hey, are we having some issues? But there is a potential bug that could happen, or there is a security flaw or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And pushes a comment. Then then the user could say, hey, I'm totally busy doing something else. Hey, Tublian Dev Agent, why don't you take a look at this comment and fix the issue for me? So there
Yeah.
will be this whole lots of AI agents working in a chain to kind of fix a problem.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's an interesting one. Maybe
Yeah.
I will finally go to create a GitLab account with this and see what happens there.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, let's get to the main topic of the day, vibe coding. I mean, we still have like 10 minutes to talk about this. So yeah, vibe coding. So vibe coding is a concept that I find very interesting, right, guys? I
It's
mean,
definitely popular. I mean, lots of people talking about it.
everybody's talking about vibe coding these days.
Mhm.
So it's a way for the way it's defined is that it's a way AI-driven development approach where people just come together, they're prompting AI, telling me what to do. Hey, do this for me. Hey, do that for me, and then just give me a minute. I think I found a way.
That'd be awesome. So just to set the context, so this, yeah, okay, all right, cool. You got this. Got it.
Yeah. Trying to get to the main page. All right. Okay, so it's an AI-driven programming approach where you describe what you want to do, and then you just describe it in natural language, and the AI goes to do the work for you. All you need to do is to explain, oh, I want this, I want that. If you can remember when I was talking about the canvas thing, it's like that, right? It's like that. So um, just tell you what you want to do, describe the idea, just be very descriptive. You can even tell the programming language to use. You can just tell it what to do, tell it everything that you need to do. You need to be as detailed as possible. So you also need to know how to
So
prompt.
let me set a scenario for users to kind of visualize what that means. So I know it says developers, but lots of non-developers using this Vibe coding right now. So if you're a non-technical founder, let's say you have an idea, what you can do, the concept is you open some of this IDE. It could be Cursor, it could be VS Code. It really doesn't matter as long as that IDE has basic capabilities of chatting with you. You should be able to do this. So what's happening now is that some of these tools are getting so sophisticated that, and as a non-technical founder, obviously there are some limits to this, we'll talk about this, but as a non-technical founder, you can open one of these programming environments. And remember, I'm saying non-technical, so you don't know what's about coding or files or Python or JavaScript. What you're going to do is that you're going to start having conversation with this chatbot inside the IDE, because most of this application has this voice microphone feature. So you're going to be talking to this, hey, I'm thinking of building, like Precious did, I'm thinking of building a restaurant app. I'm thinking here is what's going to look like. If you have a Figma design also, you can drop in a screenshot of the design. Hey, I like this page on this website. I want you to build this similar. So you are having conversation with an IDE, and IDE is generating code. But the concept of this Vibe coming in saying that, right, you don't even see this code, right? You just have this built behind you as you're having conversation. So in theory, in some of the Vibe coding, you might not even be touching the keyboard or writing any code. So that's, I think, the critical differentiation.
Yeah, that's the main difference between the both of them, right? You just have the conversation, tell you what you want, and then it builds it out for you. I think the people going to benefit mostly from Vibe coding are going to be the non-technical founders, right? I was listening to a podcast this weekend, and they were talking about how, okay, the this thing is on the screen, right? Y Combinator reported that 25% of the startups in the winter 2025 batch had their code base that were 95% AI generated. So 95% of the code, that's 25% of the startups that got into Y Combinator presented, were written by AI. Now, this, I'm guessing this was even before Vibe coding became like a thing like that. So what does this mean? What does this mean for everybody? I was talking with some developer relations managers on Friday, and we were talking about Vibe coding. And then most of them were like, oh, I mean, so what happens to the junior developers? Nobody's going to need us again. But then I told them to look at it in a way that product managers, we had the conversation on our community call last week. Product managers can be able to test out ideas. So the product manager wants this new dashboard and is thinking that, oh, users are going to like it. So all you need to do is to use Vibe coding, build out the dashboard, have all the endpoints, get it from developers, integrate it, give it to a few users, maybe select like 10 or 15 users, give it to them, get feedback, and decide to move on with the idea or kill it, right?
Correct.
So this is going to change the way products are being built. But I mean, the upside is now that code can just go into the code base, right? Because we still have issues. And what are some of the issues? We still have issues of issues of maintainability of the code, issue of efficiency. We have security issues. There is a meme that I shared in our community. So if you're a member of our community, you can go to the random channel on Discord and you're going to see that meme where someone, I mean, he was building this new startup using Kuso AI, right? And he was sharing his progress online. Then some bunch of guys started attacking his products, and they were sending random codes to his database, and basically they were trying to crash him. So he had to bring everything down and start afresh. And guess what? He already has paying customers, and this guy is not technical. He is zero technical, and he was able to build a technical startup, right? So it's going to change a lot of a lot of the way products are being built. It's going to change how um, how how fast things move in the industry, in the space right now. I mean, we already say that tech is a fast-paced industry. It's going to get faster, so you just need to prepare because things are getting faster, right? So, I mean, these AIs are becoming interesting. But Neil, what do you think about the efficiency? What do you think about the possible problems that we're going to face? What do you think
Yeah.
about vibe code in general? I
Yeah.
mean, the
No,
downside.
one thing I also want to say, remember we used to say, Precious, and we keep saying that everyone will have ability to code, right?
Yeah,
And we keep saying that this code's going to look very different. This doesn't necessarily doesn't mean IDE. So vibe coding is kind of an A version of that. I think
yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I'm very positive about this. I think I agree with you. I think overall it's good for the industry. Why should only developers have the ability to build, right? I mean, I think everyone should have that ability to build something. Allowing product managers, like you said, data analysts and business analysts to ability to quickly create product ideas, first version, MVP or V0, I think is important. Instead of doing everything in the document, hey, this is what I mean. I think it will be great for building great products because you can immediately see your idea in action. I think what we as an industry need to figure it out is that lots of this idea is not going to make it, right? You build a version with this vibe coding, you say, okay, this is crap, this is not going to work. Or you test it in market, it does not going to work. But there will be lots of ideas that are going to work. Like you gave an example of that startup, right?
yeah,
I think it will be very interesting for us to figure it out. What is that handover looks like now that you're non-technical founder, you found an idea, you see how the product gonna look like. Now you want to really scale out, like you said, right? You want to build a sustainable business around it. Then you have to hand over this to technical folks who knows this stuff well, right? Who knows how to scale this, build security and all that stuff. That's thing I think we as a whole need to figure that out because, like you said, some of the generated code might not be well structured because vibe code, one of the downside of vibe coding is that there is no architecture. It's just a bunch of code
yeah,
working together, right? It's not structured,
yes,
maybe. But I believe this tool is going to get better, but eventually that's the challenge, how you do the transition.
yeah. Okay, so I think I have a question. I mean, a question
Yeah.
for all of us, those watching
Mm.
us live, and those that are still going to watch this later. And the question is, do you think it is still important to learn how to code? I mean, giving vibe coding, are you still going to have a 5-year-old tell him or her to, oh, you know what, I think you should think, what do you think, Neil? I mean, I want to get, I
Now
don't know.
you'll get a bias answer from me, obviously, but I think yes. I think it's even more important to learn. When things change so fast again, I'm going to repeat myself. I said that over and over again. When you are in the industry like we are in right now, where things are moving so fast, lots of new shiny tools coming up. I think sticking to fundamentals, if your fundamentals are very clear about how these things work, will be your superpower. Because I think building, oh, I'm really good at vibe coding it, Cursor AI is really not. I mean, it's an interesting thing, but it's not a skill because who knows, tomorrow's not going to be another shiny new AI tool coming in, right? So
Yeah,
sticking to fundamentals, which means coding. On the other side, also, I think it will be a good thing for our industry because I think people who are really passionate about this industry will only join this industry. Because if
Yeah.
you're not passionate, then learning coding really doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad. I think it's sad to see. It's sad to see that coding. Well, for me, I think we are going to have a thing where people start. I mean, people that have ideas are going to be kings, right? So people that have ideas, people that knows how to build businesses, people that know how to come up with ideas, and I mean, I think they're going to have a little
There
bit of
is a tricky bit there, though. Sorry, Precious, to cut you there. There's a tricky bit. I've been hearing that a lot too, that, hey, in this world where building application is so cheap, idea is your secret sauce. But there is a danger to that too, because now it's also super easy to steal your idea.
Oh, well, yeah, right.
Right. I mean, there is a copy, there are a bunch of sites out there which just clones your website. If you have a
Yeah.
SaaS application and people think that's a good idea, they will clone it immediately.
Yeah. It's that's an interesting way to look at it because
Yeah, it's people are going to steal it. Overnight, they will have a.
we're going to run into a future problem where people we now have to start looking for ways to patent these ideas, which goes back to what we had during the industrial age, where people have to go and sign document books that this idea belongs to me. Man, just like circle.
That's why. I mean, I know it's a developer focused podcast, but that's why when we build this is constantly. We've been thinking about it too, right? How I think if you're building a product in this AI age, you have to be very vertical focused. You truly have to understand the community you're building for, and you're solving your problem, and specifically is addressing their problem. I think that's how we build the stickiness. Just randomly opening an app would be popular for a week, but there will be another app in next week. You see what I'm saying? So that's the challenge you have to kind of balance out.
Well, I mean,
but exciting times though.
Yeah, exciting times ahead. Yeah, exciting times ahead. All right. So, you want to drop any updates on product side of things to be an update? I mean, we're almost close to the end.
I said in the mention at the beginning of the week, the dev agent is there, almost ready, guys. My goal is to release this sort of this week. So we are doing the final touches. Just make sure the licensing, the functionality, the freemium model, all that's baked in. I would love you guys to play with it, try it out. I think you guys will all enjoy it.
All right. So on the community side of things, we are learning how to build AI agents. Yeah, and Nilanjan is the one going to take us on this session. This will be happening on the 29th of March, 2025. So let me quickly drop the link to register if you want to register for this session. I mean, I sent out a few invites over the weekend. I'm going to send out more today and tomorrow. But if you don't have an invite, you can register for this session. I mean, I have a little idea. I mean, if you attend community calls, you're going to have an idea of what's going to happen in this session. So attend community calls. It's on Thursday. Yeah. So attend community calls. Yeah. So he's a very interesting tool, a very interesting framework that helps you to quickly build and deploy your own AI agents, right? So I think you should be there. If you're a developer, even if you are a non-technical person, this session is going to be an interesting one, I believe. You all should check it out, register. When you register, you're going to have the link to join the session. It's happening on Saturday. And we kind of tweak the time zone so that both people in India and people in Africa can be able to join. So it's going to be like 7:30 p.m. in India and then 3 or 4 p.m. in Africa. But of course, very early for Nilanjan. Yeah, very early for Nilanjan. Yeah. So guys, that's that from the community side of things. Thank you everyone for joining this week.
All right.
See you next week. Next week,
we're going to
interesting stuff. Yeah. So you all enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Bye.